Today we're headed to the Pipeline Trail, which is a great trail to hike, and but a few things on the way that we see, like for example, the water mains are above ground in certain areas. Like in the U.S. you could do it because they'd freeze. Here there's no problem with freezing. And then I guess you can see maybe with that the view up there of the mountain of the Baru. So anyway, we'll do a couple. There's a couple other cool things we'll show here before we get to the actual trail.
We're on the way to the Pipeline Trail and here's a valley area that we got a good view of. It's a cloudy day, but you can still see a lot of the different shades of green.
So one of our favorite signs is this was right before we go down a big hill, and actually that picture there is probably not too far off from how steep this gets. So anyway, the beginning of our hiking journey. This is the Waterfall Trail, or also known as the Pipeline Trail. And we are entering the park now. We paid, it's $5 each. And interesting, you can see up on the hill there, I mean that is way up there, and they have it farmed up there. They have a terrace, and those white lines there are water pipes where they pump water up. I'm not sure how they're pumping. And what's that, goat or sheep? Goat or sheep? So anyway, it's sheep, yeah, because here comes another one. Hey, what's up? What are you doing? Yep. What are you doing? What's up? You're gonna get rammed. You gonna run? Chicky chicks. And then there's some houses and greenhouses and stuff behind us. All right, the trail will narrow down here in a minute and gets to where and I think we're heading like, well, we end up going way up there. There's a tree up here that we go to, is it over 1,000 years old or something like that? It's huge. We'll get a video of that. We've been here before. It's a cool trail. Unfortunately, earlier I didn't have the camera on, and there's an animal. Carol thought it was in the mink family. I agree. It looked like something like that, but it was really dark in color, like almost like a dark gray or black. Probably about 30 inches long total, so it's kind of big. Need a break? All right. We've been hiking for a while. This is one of the bridges we come to across the creek. Check out the huge leaves over there. We'll get walking here again in a little bit. This is like uphill the whole way, so we're getting a little winded. There's some other people behind us. I think this canopy above us, up there, I'm guessing it's probably at least 100 feet above us. A well-traveled trail. It does get narrower and more jungly up ahead as we get further in. I think to get to the waterfalls at the end is what, 3 hours? Yeah, it's a 3-hour hike to get to the waterfall at the end, which last time we were here, I think it was 2018 was the first time we were here? 18 or 19, 18. Anyway, it was during the dry season. People said you gotta go see the waterfall, so we hiked the 3 hours and got to the waterfall, and it was like a trickle of water. And Carol's like, we hiked all the way for just this. So it's rained a little bit more, and we're getting into the wet season, but I don't think we're hiking 3 hours today. We'll see how it goes. I doubt it. But I have two things going against me now that I didn't have back then, which is age and mass, which has affected me more than I'd like to admit. Anyway, hey, some more benches for resting for people, and we're coming up on I guess a crossover over some water. Yep, a couple of pipes here to walk across. Well, as we were walking, we just came up on a group of people with a guide, and they actually had I don't know what you'd call it. It was like a monocular on a stand, and they actually showed us. They let us look into it, which was awesome. But it was a female Quetzal, not the male. The males are the ones with the beautiful long tails, and they said they saw a male on a nest, but they could only see the tail. But that was a little while back, and we're just hiking. We've got to get to the tree, the old tree. We've got 40 more minutes of hiking. So, according to the guide there, apparently the guide is the thing to have to really be able to see the Quetzals, because you gotta know what you're looking for, and we don't. So, but as you can see, the trail is getting much more like a trail. And we got hiking boots on, got some mud, and it's all cool. This is what hiking's all about, right? Wow. Furry things. All right. Okay, here's something we'll try to get on film, and Carol found it. I've already stepped over it, but let's see if we can zoom in on it. It's all ant trails, and there's ants everywhere. And I sure as heck don't want to get those guys on us, because there are fire ants or biting ants around here. So anyway, kind of cool. Another crossing. Let's see if we can get this up a little bit higher. There we go. That's better. Looks like there's a walking bridge up there. And we got a pipeline that comes through. What's that? Your whole head is wet from sweat? Well, at least it gives us a rail to hold on to. I don't know if that was ever, oh, that's no longer in use. Yeah, that's from the past. And then there's a big water pipeline, which water comes down through. Ugh. Used to be a walking bridge. Problem is also is we see some of these birds, but they're so small and flying around it. I don't think they pick them up on camera, so it's kind of hard to see. Because there's one like in the trees right in front of me right now that's flying around. Where's Carol? Habitat de Quetzal.
Okay.
Well, it's go that. I think it's that way, 2 kilometers. I don't know. There really isn't a sign that says anything, is it? Or is it for the next 2 kilometers? I don't know. Here's kind of a cool tree. So I did want to say something, and that is that you know, out here the only thing we hear are actually the river that runs, that we kind of parallel here, because you can hear the water rushing over the stones and things like that. You can hear the birds. Right now, as I look at the very tops of the trees up there, that's way up there. I don't know how far from here we are. That's, I don't know, 1,000 feet plus. Anyway, I don't see any moving the trees, so I don't think there's any wind today. Usually, a lot of times it's windy, but we hear nothing. I mean, it's just the birds and the water. There are no planes or helicopters or anything like that. As a matter of fact, even over our house, there's no planes at all. Once in a while, a helicopter. I think we've had maybe 2 helicopters in a year have flown past. And one time they flew, I went looking for it, and it was actually below the level of our house. It was running through the valley. So it's so quiet, and it's hard to explain how quiet it is compared to, you know, we're so used to even hiking in the woods in Indiana. We're always, it seems like we're near a road or something where you can hear trucks or cars in the distance, but this is just quiet. Do you think that's a Quetzal trail, or do you? That's not the tree we're headed to, but look how big that tree is. And goes all the way up. It's a massive tree. So this is where we're hiking up to today. Cenizo, I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that right. Anyway, it's a tree that is approximately 1,000 years old. And I don't know if that really gives you an idea of how big that really is, or how wide that is. Carol, here, hold this so I can stand there so they can get an idea how big this thing is. You got both of them?
Yep.
All right. Big.